This is the Microtech Combat Troodon. Just your basic M390 dual edge with the full serrated. Great knife. So the title of this video is going to be, can you fix this knife off Amazon, using parts just off Amazon? You know, you may live in a state that you can't get these knives, or you can't send them back through Microtech, or you don't have an authorized dealer. There's a bunch of different scenarios where you can't really send the knife back in, and now you have a broken spring. What do you do? So this is my son's knife. It's been used a ton. It's held up really well, except where you see where I think the ring of the left finger here, you know, it's kind of gouged out the anodized aluminum there. All in all, this serrated, half serrated blade is unbelievable. It's probably been opened and closed a couple thousand times, and the spring finally broke. This is the stock spring here. You could see where the tip broke off. It's the other side, what it's supposed to look like. A lot of guys online, they just take this and rebend it, and supposedly you can make it work. I wanted to try a different route before I tried that. So I ordered these springs off Amazon. It's tough to find anything that comes up. I actually typed in a bunch of different things, and I think it finally came up as Ultratech. If you look at the diameter is very similar, and the length. I don't ever like recommending anything unless I try it. I go, okay, this is a Chinese product. It's probably shitty steel. So I've been using this knife personally for the last 2 months, opening and closing it 100 times a day. I recently got my wife an electric motorcycle, and the crate came with, I mean, just numerous huge tie downs, zip ties and plastic, and I use this knife completely to open it with the serrated down. I don't know if there's a lot of videos out there saying that these dual edge blades, you know, are kind of worthless. But trust me, if you get a serrated edge on one of these things, this is a gem and just a pleasure to carry. Action is the same. I can't feel any difference, not any weaker or any harder. These are pretty hard to open if you have never had one. So I ordered these. It comes in a package of 2. This was the bag it came in. It actually comes in the mail through Amazon. Sometimes they deliver it. These came through the mail. I'm going to link in the part. It was like $8 for 2. And then this piece here, there's numerous of these tri-wing, screws, these little tools. I think the real one from Microtech's like $200. This is like $9. And I just bought one. I'll link it in, but there's numerous ones on there I'm assuming will work. So the only thing I can see where this worked on all 3 knives. This was the Spartan. This one I took apart completely because it had the spring tang. When you open and close it, you were getting that tang, that ting, which you can't hear anymore. And what you do is you load up the spring with a little bit of white lithium or some other, heavy grease, and it goes away completely. I watched a video online about it. But so these are shallow. If you can see, the screws are shallow. So this works like a champ because you still have quite a bit of room. You're not going to mark up your anodizing. So just to let you know, the way this is tapered, it's thicker here than it is here. So these front screws, you have plenty of meat without bottoming out on this. These, it goes all the way down, if you could see that. So there is the tiniest bit of scratching on the anodizing. I mean, it's a user. I wasn't worried about it. It still works fine. It doesn't bottom out where you can't grab a hold of it. There's videos online on how to take these apart and put them back together with the springs. So I've already done that. Once again, I've carried it for the last 2 months. I wasn't going to give it back to my son if the spring was no good, and is absolutely perfect. I'm totally blown away. Very seldom am I, my expectations exceeded from a product on Amazon that's so cheap, from the original one, especially a spring, Chinese steel spring. but it is legitimately, and I'm assuming it would work for this and this. I'm not quite sure. It says Ultratech spring in there, but it's identical to the Combat Troodon. So I can't recommend this enough if you are in a situation where you can't send it back to Microtech. You know, it works like a champ. When you originally take these out, it's a little awkward, but you just put I just use a little Allen driver that fit in here, and I just use a little leverage and they came right off. Just make sure this is pushed down square, because you know the real one's a little taller, it's easier to work with. But I have not, if you can look at those heads, I have not had any issue stripping them at all. Taking them out. I've had this knife apart 3 or 4 times, you know, testing and working on it. So it can be done, it's not a problem. I wish the parts were easier to get for these. That's just the way it is. So the spring for the Combat Troodon that you can get off Amazon, and the tool to take it apart works like a champ. No issues at all. I am doing fine. Some of the videos I haven't been talking. A lot of people have commented or emailed. I'm doing great. A lot of the exclusives, you know, where it's the knife's been talked about 1 billion times, but it's just a different variation. I just want to show it and let everybody know it's available. So I think silence is better on those videos, you know, going forward in the future. So hope everybody's doing well. Take care.